your purpose? Yes, I know. We all want to know what our purpose is, right? We all feel chosen. I feel honestly that every single person, every single individual, every single life force, every single living being is chosen to do something. What that is, most of us do not get the chance to realize or figure out because of the fact that, well, we get pulled into our ego. The society that we are raised in wants us to believe that money is the answer to all things. But when you become chosen or you go through your spiritual enlightenment, you'll realize that money is not the answer. Freedom is the answer. Money can sometimes receive or grant you freedoms and things that can get you closer to your freedom, right? So for me, what I've realized is when I took my money, I went to go purchase a passport that can get me to a country where the cost of living is cheaper. Things like that, right? Or even realizing that my mind can make money. But we'll get into that later. So, chosen seed, what is your purpose? Your purpose down here is to figure out who you are. That's it. Now, hear me out, because a lot of people, when they become spiritually awoken or awoke, they believe, I got to leave this job, I got to leave that job, I can't work this job, I can't work that job. The matrix is against me, everybody in the world is against me, everyone against me, everyone can't, I don't know what I am anymore. I'm just a freaking particle on the face of the planet. As true as some of those things may be, we have to take a step back and think, what did each and every single job teach you before you got to your enlightenment? What aspects about you were highlighted at these jobs? Were you quickly promoted? Were you granted leadership? Or were you a person who was just very good at helping out the leadership structure of the job place? Usually, if you're chosen, usually you did get promoted fast because people could tell that the way that you are operating, the way that you operated just naturally was always authoritative. And you needed to be able to be in that position to be the most effective at their organization or their employment situation for you. I don't want to say plantation because that leaves a connotation in your brain that we're all slaves. And I don't want you to think that. Yes, this system does lock us down if we think like that. Now, there's two ways to look at this, right? Get away from the system, break the system, become free, sovereign beings, live off the grid, go to another country. That perspective is totally respected in this space. That's what I technically kind of want to do. No, that's actually what I really want to do. But then there's also the understanding that in this system, if you're comfortable in the frequency and how it moves, you can use different tools to achieve more abundance in your perspective of what abundance is based on what you believe spiritually. Some people spiritually believe that you must be free of all things and you can choose what you want to attach to. Some people believe in hard work helps you elevate. In both spaces, that is true. Spiritual elevation requires practice every single day, understanding of self, understanding of meditating, all these different tools. Elevating in a job requires the same thing, diligently coming there, showing up, being on time, being punctual, being organized. It's a structure. Both things are mirrored. Eventually, you'll realize that both of these things intertwine. Your spiritual life and your physical life become one. And that's when the harmony begins after the ascension, right? So, you will not leave this planet until it's time for you to leave this planet. Yes, we do have this thing where we want to, oh, I live in space. And a lot of us are that tall. A lot of us have ascended to that understanding that your Merkaba is up there and you can go to different places, different realms, and see different things, see different people with what's going on in their lives, whatever you do when you dream. Some people can do it while they're awake. Some people have spiritual gifts. Some people have spiritual tools. That's what we're all here for, to be spiritual and to essentially tell the truth to others. That's my position. That's my purpose, right? And I feel like if everything is a reflection of me, the people who will find this video will understand that I believe telling your story and your truth is your purpose. Once you reach that enlightenment point where you feel like I've reached my ceiling and everything that I try to do, it just doesn't, and I can't figure out why, it's because the job now is to go back and reflect on the story and tell your story to other people so they can learn from it. And that's where your abundance comes in, being able to mentor other people into being better than you were. I met someone who their life like literally resembles mine to a T. Boyfriend at 18, prom, high school, all these things. But when I talk to her, I speak to her as if I'm speaking to myself, the person that I needed at that age. Not the person who's just judging it, like, oh, you shouldn't have did that. Oh, make sure you don't do this. But more so hearing what she has to say, but then also steering her towards, better decisions than what I did. I didn't know anything about credit before I had my son, so I tell her about good credit, things like that. And I see that she also has a mate that is also in that space of having the better credit. She says she wants to get away from her family, can't stand them. Cool. You can get away. Use things like the USDA loans, things like that to build your own house, your own home. But again, focusing on the chosen ones. Your job is to direct everyone towards the truth, whatever your truth is. And some people will understand your truth, digest it, take it, learn from it, love it, live by it. Other people will look at your truth as that is completely the opposite of how I live my life, and you give them a reason to keep going on their journey. At the end of the day, the whole point is to tell the truth, whatever your truth is. Some people really live in that spiritual over physical existence because, I mean, personally, me, when I get into a spiritual space of being free from external sources that make me feel tied down, I tend to operate better, faster. I can navigate better. I can think better. I'm quick on my feet that way. When I tap into my Merkaba and I let it expand. Because there's enough space out here for all of us to do that. You just have to find your soul tribe so that you can do it with no fear in your heart. See, even right now, I could feel, and that's the thing, when you're in a location, and this is the shadow work that you'll realize too, because you have to go through the shadow work process as well. After the enlightenment, I believe when I had my spiritual awakening, that's when I had to do the most shadow work. Like really look inside and say, hold on, how did I end up here? And that's why when I see people who remind me of myself, my younger self, I can look at it and say, that's a shadow version of myself that I need to speak to so that my shadow can find some more light. Then also, when I see future versions of what I can be, I let them know I don't want to be just like you because I see where your choices have led you. I want to be a little different. I'm a mixture of like all of y'all. So when I look at, like, for instance, the matriarchs in my family, my mother, my grandmother, my other grandmother, my great grandmothers, my great great grandmother, because I met her before she passed away. I had 6 grandmas when I was born at my baptism. I was raised as a Catholic. I looked at all these different things and I look back, I'm like, I see the value in why I went through them because my truth brought me to, or my journey and my story brought me to my truth. I realized that Catholicism wasn't the only way of life. That's why you now see me with a Kemetic symbol on my chest. Nothing wrong with Catholicism. Nothing wrong with any of these modalities. However, I found out what best works for me based on what I understand about the whole entire spectrum. See, when you have that spiritual awakening, you now realize there's other life forces, other life journeys, other life paths, just like yours, that you'll see yourself in them, but they took a completely different road. There we go. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to say. So in all of that, I looked at all of these grandmothers. I'm like, I see my story. I see my story. I see how I could be all of y'all. And I see which story I like the best. And I could take pieces from the other stories and put them in there. So I have a grandmother. She was very big on getting her abundance together. Like she got a government job early on, worked through that whole entire system. Now she's living like her money is saved up. She got Range Rovers, Mercedes Benz, best credit ever, nice house. She fixed the house that she lives in, so when she's in it, she can enjoy being in it. It looks nice to her. She likes how it is. She likes how it's set up, right? Then I have another grandmother where she didn't necessarily go after the money. She kind of was in a good job, but she always was helping out everyone around her actively, like as she was on her journey. Like she was, do you want to stay here? You need to live with me. Do you need to live with me? I even live with her with my son. So she's very much been nurturing and giving to every single individual around her. Most of her life has been given to everyone around her. So, she's at a point now where her bills are taken care of and everything, but she feels like she can't be free, right? Then there's another grandmother of mine that's been married since she was young. She did her thing. She had a husband. He pretty much pampered her, treated her like a spoiled brat her whole entire life. She didn't even have to work. I mean, she had a job here and there. She went to college here and there, but she didn't have to do any of that stuff. Had 3 kids. To this day, she's 92 years old. She's still, like, I mean, maybe not now, but up until maybe last year, she was still hand washing her dishes in the sink, because that's what her routine was. She was still walking up the stairs in her house because she's always had stairs in her house. So she's always been slimmer and more fit because she always had to walk up a lot of stairs. Whereas my other 2 grandmothers, they lived, like, one of them, she walked up a few stairs to get to her room. And my other grandmother, she walked up a few stairs to get to her apartment, but they kind of just a few stairs and that was it. So when they're in their space, they're comfortable. Like, one lives right by the kitchen. So it's like, they're able to expand and get wider. Versus my other great grandmother, which is one of my grandmother's mothers, she had to walk up the stairs to get to her bedroom. She had to walk up the stairs, walk down the stairs to get to the kitchen. So actively in her life, she's more fit. And she has the husband who spoiled her. So it's like I look at these different grandmothers and I'm like, wow. I could even look at my mother and see where she went in her life and how things went with her relationships. That's what I learned my relationship spaces from. And I see the correlation in all of their relationships, like what happened, and I see myself, right? So furthermore, with all that being said, I now understand my journey is to be a little bit different. I love that you got spoiled. I love that that happened for you, but I want to be free. Like, I want to go do my own thing and then find my husband after I've lived a plentiful life. And that doesn't require me to go through the system and kick down people through their throats and stuff and just be in the government. Like, I really want to just go be on a beach eating mangoes and fruits, because that's what I learned during COVID. When I had tapped away, when I had my government job, it was cool. But then when I finally broke away from that system and we were in home, my grandmother came down with cancer. I started eating fruits and stuff all the time. And all I wanted to do was eat fruit. Like, literally every morning I'm cutting up a cantaloupe, a watermelon, just having at it, having my way with fresh fruits. And I wanted everyone around me to get on, the boat. But, when you've been eating a certain way for a certain amount of time, it's kind of hard to just change, even when life is like you need to change. So with that being said, I learned from that as well. Like, sometimes you have to make changes. So back to the main thing. What is your purpose? Telling your truth in your journey. I know someone's going to hear these stories and be like, wow, I never looked at how my life is like my grandmother's and my grandmother's and my mother's, and looked at their relationships and seeing the same thing in them as I see in me. Wow, I never thought about how, yeah, this person's triggering to me because it's a different version of me that's trying to get me to see their perspective. You have all these perspectives in your mind. This is a big head game. Everyone's here. We're all, no one's perfect. Look, I had my kid at 18. My grandmother had her kid at 18. My mom did better and had me at 20, but still dropped out of college. I had a kid at 18 and dropped out of college, but now I'm an entrepreneur. They didn't do that. Whereas my other grandmother, she went through the system. She had her kid at like 15, my father, and she has a government job. She has this estate. She has the money. Her mother handed down the house. So it's like, hey, I can help you get a house because I achieved this much. So I can assist you with the things that I've been able to acquire so that you can get pulled up, so that the next generation can get pulled up. You see what I'm saying? Building blocks, but they all fit with each other. So yes, sometimes they look at each other as like competition, but then they've learned that they're all pouring into me so that I can pour into my son. And when I healed my perspective of even me and my 2 sisters, like, we're pouring into each other to make the next version of myself, the next version of divine feminine energy better. It's never for me to talk down on that female, that female. Yes, what you do, I might not like. I'm just here to share my truth, my perspective, and you might take something from it. Even today, I posted a video of a woman twerking. One had on a Polynesian like skirt that was long. The other one had on spandex shorts. They said provocative, promiscuous, and spiritual and sensual versus like. And a man said basically, he gave me his perspective. The first one I don't feel is sexual because I can't see, it's like more playful and childlike, and I can just see how she's moving her hips. Like, wow, that's magical. Versus like with the shorts, I can see your, you know, your print in the front and the back. So I now have an imagination of what I can do with that. Like I now can sexualize it in my mind because men are very visual. Right? So that's why they say they want us women to wear the sundresses, and you see in other countries women cover up themselves and they only show off their eyes because I want you to feel me versus see me as a sexual object to take apart and put pieces in, and you know, all this kind of stuff. So again, me just relaying my truth to you is my purpose. That's it. Some people might not say, oh, well, I like Sexy Red because that music get me hype. That's cool. I like, sometimes I need to hear, like, sometimes the stuff is so catchy, it gets stuck in my brain too. But at the same time, I understand that if I have my son singing some of that stuff and I have my daughter singing some of that stuff, she might not understand that we're trying to grow a little bit past that. The job is excellence. The job is Black excellence. The job is to be able to play the game from a different level. I don't want to be seen as the object to like, oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I told the word about my herpes, my STDs and things like that that I've went through, because that's a healing process of realizing my worth was more than what I accepted. My worth was much more than just, oh, because I have herpes, I have to be with this person. Because I have this, I got to be. I had to realize I have herpes, but because I'm eating better, I'm seeing less outbreaks. I'm less stressed out. I'm able to rise up in the morning earlier. My brain doesn't feel clogged up by all this different stuff. My pineal gland is decalcified. I can now move in accordance with Black excellence. See, and then if I had that situation, now I can also take my money and go to a different country and live the life that I want to live. We all have to sacrifice something to get where we want to go. And that's not a person. It's not, you know, it's just sacrificing old habits. And sometimes people will be an embodiment of an old habit, is what I've learned in my truth, right? Sometimes people from the past are embodiments of old habits. So you tend to like this person because they make you feel comfortable being the older version of yourself. But then you meet the newer version of that person that's supposed to help you get out of those habits that you know are no good for you, because those will only lead you back into the bottom of the system, because it is a system. But essentially, if this is all mental, I've had it where the system has worked in my favor. And not because I'm selling out anyone, but because I'm like, okay, I'm locking in on my mind. This isn't right. We need to go ahead and make it right. So how do you make it right so that people like myself can move through? And it's my journey. It's my path. My blessing might not be for everyone in my neighborhood. I learned that my apartment complex was unlicensed for over a year. Well, since December last year, literally when I came back from Miami. So since then, I hadn't had to pay any rent because it was what I needed for my spiritual journey, for my path, for me. It might not be what everybody needs in their journey, on their path. It might not be the case. They might really enjoy this neighborhood. They've met their max out. They're comfortable. They don't want to move anywhere else. That's perfectly fine. Whereas myself, I know I want to live in a house. I don't want to be on top of somebody who feels like they can spiritually overstep my boundaries and be in my aura and step on top of my head and make me feel like I got to listen to them, even though they live underneath me. I don't want to live like people banging on the wall next to me, then people banging on the wall next. I don't like that, because I'm big and I'm free. I'm a free being. I need to expand. My thoughts are expansive. My mind shifts my reality. I don't want to stay stuck in this reality that I'm currently in. I want to grow past it. So if other minds around me aren't ready and prepared to do that, then I have to break away, especially when I'm given this opportunity to do so. So this means all the money that I saved up, all the credit cards I paid off, when my credit score goes up, I can now get that home that I want to get through the USDA loan. Hence, my grandmother said, I can help you get a house. I'll match you on whatever you save up. Well, I have $5,000 saved up right now, and I paid off most of my credit cards. Let's match right now before it's too late so that I can get into this home and be good. Well, how are you going to pay for it if you haven't been paying rent all this time? The way that God got me, I understand telling my truth is going to help me get monetized. Whether I end up on someone's podcast, someone's show, and we're sitting here giving this truth to the masses so they can see, because people need to see a storyline. And I know I'm going over 20 minutes, but people need to see a storyline. People need to see you come from nothing and raise into something to believe your story. That's why a lot of people will follow someone like a Sexy Red, because she came from the gutter, she stayed true to who she was, and here she is arising into wealth. However, modern day music puts us in a frequency where we shake that ass, bitch, like we're not bitches, we're not hoes, we're none of those things. Because when you think like that and then someone says those words, you've internalized that thought about yourself. So now you can't even see yourself as a queen. When someone says, "What's up, queen?" You can be like, you're gonna look at them weird, like he just trying to get in my pants. No, he's really like, "What's up, queen? I understand the value of who you are and what you can do for my life if I have you in my life as my wife. So I want to talk to you like you're a queen. I don't want you to think you're a bitch and a hoe and you need to shake your ass on me." Because like I said, the man earlier today, he saw the two pictures mirrored by each other. One girl had on the dress and she was dancing. The other girl had on the booty shorts, and he said he could sexualize the other girl. He said he didn't sexualize the other woman. It felt more like it was sensual, magical, and it was just like, wow, she can move her hips like that. That's incredible. Versus, she moving her hips like that and is clapping. I kind of want to imagine something with that right now. A man said that to me. So if this is the kind of man who is decent, he's not going to want you outside shaking your ass, bitch. He's going to want to say, "What's up, queen? Divine rising." Or he could even say, "Good morning, queen." They don't have to, but we also understand the context of the words. Good morning. That's what they used to say back in slave time when they had a slave that would have gotten beat all night long, and you might have lost a relative or lost the energy, or now you feel their pain. So good morning, isn't it? To get you in the headspace of mourning. So when we understand the power of words, sounds, vibrations, and everything else, we'll understand why it's so important for us to be on this truth-telling, truth-seeking journey. So, chosen one, what's your purpose? Is to tell your truth in your story. Then you even get to look back on your story and say, wow, okay, that's what I did. And I didn't mess up. It just was an experience for me to learn from so I could teach somebody else how to operate it differently. How somebody else can play chess in this same storyline. How somebody else could play chess when they see that. You get what I'm saying? That makes sense to you? Does it make sense? I hope so. So, what's your purpose? Your purpose is to flow freely, how you see fit. I'm a person, I get touchy. Ooh, he up in my space. I don't like it. Because I want to share my space with my husband. I don't want to imagine what somebody else's vibe is like. I'm trying to find a husband. I've been celibate for over a year. I don't want to just feel what everybody's bandi kaki bang bang feel like. I done had enough practice. It's time for me to be on my own wave with my own divine partner. And the quicker that I've come to realize that, the quicker I've been able to like say no to, flirtatious. Hi, miss, hi. It's like, okay, hey, what you doing there? Nah, stop. So again, chosen seeds, your purpose is to find out your truth and share it with someone. Because all feminine are divine feminine women, just different aspects and different parts on the spectrum. Some are more shadow, some are more light. That's okay. Excuse me, holding space for a lot of people. Excuse me. But again, The point of the whole entire journey is to figure out where you fit at on the spectrum and tell your truth and still continue to elevate, because ascension is the only purpose of being here anyway. I know ain't nobody come here to be stuck down in the pits of iniquity and suffering. You want to suffer forever? No. The point is to come here and be like, oh, we supposed to grow. We supposed to get up out of this. We supposed to be elevating. We supposed to be finding our divine partners. Oh, shoot. I'm supposed to tap into my third eye. That's a gift. Oh, shoot. I'm meant to be this person for everyone else to get their understanding of who they are. I'm not meant to go with the flow, so other people can understand that they need to break out of the flow so that we can bring our flow here so that everyone can experience some kind of peace. Because I don't care what color you are, everybody wants to be at a beach in Malibu somewhere. I don't care what color you are. Everybody wants their kids to be able to feel peaceful and feel healthy and not feel like, they got it cold because they're around the wrong energies that are just sucking up their energy and just taking it from them. Everybody wants their kids to just run around and just live life based on like how life is supposed to be lived. But these organizations drain us, train us. But again, perspective. Wake up, perspective. Maybe you had to get drained and trained into being a certain kind of being because that's how life goes. That's the whole point of the journey. It's the journey. To journey through and be like, wow, I was a manager here. I was a manager here. I got promoted quickly here. So what are my gifts? And then one day you'll realize I actually have other spiritual gifts. You'll start seeing you're dreaming about other people's realities. Your dreams are coming true. You're already tapped into the spiritual realm. We're here. It's time to bring everything from the spiritual realm here. It's time for the government to treat us how they want to be treated. It's time for them to respect us how they want to be respected. It's time for us to treat each other how we want to be treated. Show me how you want me to treat you. But if it's a mirror of you, you got to put the best foot out first sometimes. It is what it is. But the journey, the purpose, what's your purpose? Telling your truth. When you have that spiritual awakening, you'll realize who you are. And you'll just be like, wow. Let me tell this story to somebody else so they don't make these same mistakes. Or let me tell this story to somebody else so that they can find a better way. Yeah? Yeah. Food issues in the household. Growing up, shortages of food stamp issues. Self-sustain, grow my own foods, grow seeds in my own house. Grow my own leafy greens. Forget even having to go to anybody's market. Self-sustain. We did it in history. Know your history. Where your ancestors from? What did they used to eat on? My ancestors are Gambian. So I like mangoes and I like cashews. Those are the main two things that they get their money through. They like to dance. They was heavily into the little thing that be spinning where it look like there's nobody in it, and they open it and it's just like a little statue in there. Yeah. Woo, magic. But we're all magic. The fact that you're even on this phone right now watching this video and there's crystal quartz inside of this phone, the crystal quartz have been able to open up a portal through electricity, which we all have running through our bodies, so that you can step into my reality and hear what I have to say from wherever you are. If you can't believe that that's magic and science is the only way to prove it, quantum physics is the science that turns magic of mind and magic of understanding of third eye and visualization and all kinds of manifestation into an understandable, touchable science so that it feels explainable. But we're all quantum beings where we have triangles all around our bodies. Every chakra has a triangle around it. Your head has circles on top of it. Your heart is a diamond that has 4 circles inside of it. You learn these things, you're like, oh my God, I'm releasing myself. Oh my God. Whew, I feel so much lighter. Yeah. Because they always want us locked down so that we don't know how chosen we are for the moment to ascend. So I again come to you and tell you and relate to you the truth, because that's my purpose and that's your purpose too. What's your truth? Speak it on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever you need to speak your truth at, but speak your truth so that other people can know and grow. We're the branches on the trees. The next set of branches got to go out a little bit further than us and get closer to the sun. And that's just how it go. That's why our kids can, they feel like they on top of us, because essentially when we really look at it, they really are. They're us when they're born, and they grow faster than us because they ain't got all those old patterns and conditions beat into their brain. Grandma ain't beat them with a switch. They not getting beat now. They able to, be on information quicker and faster. All kinds of spiritual information. They can see, they know about chakras and stuff too. They know about visualization on the board. They know. You put them in schools to try to stop it and slow it down though. But that season is over with. The golden children are rising and they need to continue. The crystal children are remembering that they're crystal children. The indigo babies are remembering that they're indigo babies. The star seeds are realizing that they're star seeds. And all those things that I just mentioned are star seed children. The rainbow children are realizing that they're rainbow children. Their auras are like rainbows. They're beautiful. So like, yeah. The green light beings, the love beings from the 70s. I mean, we're all star seeds. We're all here on different spectrums of the entire spectrum. Shadow, light, red to purple. It's all different vibrations. Where are you at? Where are you vibrating? Are you here? Are you indigo? Are you green? Are you all shining, all knowing white light? Have you taken that knowledge and allowed yourself to touch the stars? Are you now a celestial being, a celestial god, a celestial goddess? If you know that, tell the story about how you got there. And don't forget to give credit to every person, every mentor that got you there. Pay homage, gratitude. But we all supposed to be going home, baby. And I can't wait to see y'all finally rising up and just realizing, wow, life actually isn't that bad after all. Peace, love, and hair grease, and everything in between. Because, hair grease, love, and peace, everything in between is us. All right, y'all. I'm out. Wait. Okay, wait.